Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plenary Session 2 of the First National Peace Convention. To formally open the second plenary session of today's convention, please welcome Dr. Ronald Adamat as presiding officer and Dr. Pascualito Gatan as floor leader with a round of applause.
Convention is resumed. Mr. Floor Leader.
Good afternoon once again, Mr. Chair. May I respectfully move that the representative or commentators of different parallel groups be allowed to present their approved resolutions in the following order. Under the law and policy, may I ask Attorney Nazer Maruhom Mastik, or to be represented by John Romel Garces. And under Academe and Youth, may I ask Dr. Julieta Paras to present the resolutions, ma'am. And insofar as the media group is concerned, may I ask Ma'am Cristina Menjola to present and read the title and only the dispositive portion, Mr. Chair. And of course, in the interreligious sector, may I ask Dr. Sanjay Claudio to present the resolution. And lastly, on the women's sector, may I ask Oliver Chu to present the resolution, Mr. Chair.
Is that a motion?
It is a motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, the motion. Any objection, by the way? Hearing none, motion is approved in that order.
Yes, Mr.
Okay, so the first speaker will take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Declaration to institutionalize the participation and cooperation of lawmakers and policymakers in working together for peace and national unity, further urging His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to declare through presidential proclamation January 24 a special working holiday being National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day. Be it resolved, as it is hereby resolved, to adopt this declaration of participation and cooperation of lawmakers and policymakers in working together for peace and national unity, further urging His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to declare through presidential proclamation January 24 a special working holiday being National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day. Adopted.
Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution is approved and adopted.
We, the education sector and the youth sector, hereby resolve to adopt this declaration to institutionalize the participation and cooperation of the education sector and youth sector including those in the higher education, basic education, technical, vocational, and skills development, and non-formal education sectors in working together for peace and national unity. Further calling His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. to declare through Presidential Proclamation January 24 as National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day, further declaring it as a special working holiday.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved, the resolution is approved and adopted. Thank you. Next speaker.
Mr. Chair, the panel on interreligious and intercultural sector resolved to adopt a declaration to institutionalize the participation and cooperation of the members of the religious, interfaith, and intercultural sectors in working together for peace and national unity, further urging His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to declare through a presidential proclamation January 24 a special working holiday, being a National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day.
Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution is approved and adopted. Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Mr. Chair, the women subgroup had the following Peace Manifesto. Declaration to institutionalize the participation and cooperation of women as valuable partners in the promotion of peace and national unity. Further, urging His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to declare through Presidential Proclamation January 24 a special working holiday, being National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day. Be it resolved, as it is hereby resolved, to adopt this declaration to institutionalize the participation and cooperation of women as valuable partners in the promotion of peace and national unity, further urging His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to declare through Presidential Proclamation January 24 a special working holiday, being a National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day.
Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted, approved, and adopted.
Mr. Chair, the media group resolved to adopt the manifesto institutionalizing the participation of the members of the media, the print, broadcast, TV, and social media in working together for peace, further urging His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to declare through Presidential Proclamation January 24 a special working holiday, being National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day.
Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution is approved and adopted. Mr. Floor Leader,
Mr. Chair, may this representation be allowed to read en toto the summary of the consolidated resolutions. And may I ask the indulgence of all present here, because this is long.
Is
May I
that-
be granted that
Is that the
request?
consolidated resolution out of the output of the different parallel groups?
It is, Mr. Chair.
Okay, please proceed.
Resolution respectfully calling for His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Jr., Marcos Jr., to declare through presidential proclamation January 24 as National Peace Day, otherwise known as Truce Day, further declaring it as a special working holiday. Whereas the Volunteer Individuals for Peace, a local peace organization, and its international peace partner, Heavenly World Peace Restoration of Light, in short, HWPL, to the first National Peace Convention held this 25th day of January 2023, have unanimously agreed to call on His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. to declare a National Peace Day, otherwise known Truce Day, through presidential proclamations. Whereas in 2021, there was a call for the issuance of Presidential Declaration of National Peace Day that was supported and endorsed by the Commission on Higher Education through CHED Resolution number 359-2021, or CHED endorsement and recommendation to His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to declare through presidential proclamation January 24 a working holiday, being National Peace Day, yet has remained enacted upon this day, or until this day. Whereas the first National Peace Convention is represented by subgroups that come from the legislative and policy-making sectors, education and youth sectors, media and news sectors, religious, indigenous peoples, Muslims and interfaith sectors, and women sector. Whereas the subgroups are with the one accord in expressing their support to HWPL, Declaration of Peace and Cessation of Wars, and acknowledge that by promoting peace, all those that degrade human life, such as violence, hostilities, and wars, will be eradicated as peaceful coexistence among Filipinos and peoples of the world will be achieved. Whereas the convention is a venue where peace experts, peace advocates, and peace partners from all corners of the country have gathered to establish a roadmap or framework of peace in consonance with the Marcos administration overall agenda on national unity. Whereas the peace framework developed and adopted by the convention recognizes the role of peace in achieving national unity in sustainable development. Whereas the peace roadmap or framework is founded and grounded on the concept of PBBM-SD, or the so-called President Bongbong Marcos Sara Duterte, otherwise known as Peace Builds, Binds, Minds for Sustainable Development. Whereas the PBB-SD shall be convention's contribution to further consolidate and undergird the Marcos administration's One Nation, One Future national unity agenda, and can be concrete foundation from which peace shall reign in this country. Whereas the PBM-SD shall institutionalize peace initiatives that will define the peace roadmap or framework, such as the organization of local peace conventions and seminars, creation of local peace clubs, and establishments of peace monuments and peace markers all over the country that will remind the Filipino people of the importance of peace in nation building. Whereas the PBBMSD shall further be sustained through the National Peace Day or Truce Day, a concrete mechanism wherein on a yearly basis the peace roadmap or framework will be strengthened by a series of activities observed by Filipino nationwide. Whereas the convention also recognizes the special role of the legislative, education, youth, media, women, religious, indigenous peoples, and Muslim sectors in the promotion and realization of peace, national unity, and sustainable development. Whereas the declaration of January 24 as the National Peace Day or Truce Day will pave the way to the increased consciousness and awakening of the country's policymakers, the educators, the youth, the media practitioners, the religious leaders, the indigenous peoples, Muslim people, and the Filipino women as peacemakers. Whereas the declaration of National Peace Day or Truce Day will concretely define the declaration of principles and state policies in Article 2 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution that states, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy, adopts the generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land, and adheres to the policy of peace, equality, justice, freedom, cooperation, and amity with all nations. In Section 5, Mr. Chair, the maintenance of peace and order, the protection of life, liberty, and property, and promotion of the generated welfare are essential for the enjoyment of all the people of the blessings of democracy. Be it resolved, Mr. Chair, as it is hereby resolved by the National Peace Convention to adopt the resolution respectfully calling for His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos to declare through presidential proclamation January 24 as National Peace Day, otherwise known as the Truce Day, further declaring it as a special working holiday. So I move for the approval, Mr. Chair.
Parang galit ka eh. There's a motion to approve and adopt the consolidated resolution presented through the different parallel groups. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Floor Leader,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
proceed.
I move for the adoption of the Manila Declaration for Peace and National Unity as it will be presented in our screen.
It will be presented.
Yes,
Okay.
Manila Declaration of Peace and National Unity.
How much time is needed for the... Oh, it's
here.
there. Can you read it? Anyway, maybe what you can do while it's on screen, you can also run through
Okay,
the text.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Manila Declaration of Peace and National Unity. We, the Filipino people from the education and youth sector, the religious, interfaith, indigenous peoples, Muslims and intercultural sectors, the women's sector, the media sector, the private sector, the government sector, including the legislators and policymakers. Public convention held at the Philippine International Convention Center, or PICC, on January 25, 2023. Do
Excuse
hereby
me, Mr.
declare.
Floor Leader.
Yes, sir.
I think we are flashing the wrong document. This is about the
I am sorry, Mr. Chair, due to
the
hectic.
PBBM SD framework.
Yes,
You're talking
it's here.
about
I'm
the
sorry.
manifesto, Manila Manifesto.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry.
Technical, please.
Yeah, okay. May I therefore recall all the previous readings that I had?
Yes.
Or there was a mistake?
Yes.
May I now be granted another chance, Mr. Chair, to
all-
read
all
the
the time,
framework?
all the time when the price is right.
So may I proceed, Mr. Chair?
Proceed.
Okay. So this is the Peace for National Unity, the BBM SD framework. Peace builds, binds minds towards sustainable development. And this is authored by you, Mr. Chair. Okay, anchored on the vision of President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. to unite and heal our nation, his administration recognizes the relevance of a comprehensive and lasting peace as an instrument for national unity and development. With this, he remains steadfast in his efforts to advocate and implement peace-building initiatives across the country and across the globe. Since it is already flashed, Mr. Chair, and most of which are already read in the previous documents, may I just request that or move that this framework be approved by this august body.
What's the pleasure of the members? Okay bang basahin pa o approve na lang? Approve. Approve without thinking? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That being the case, the motion is approved, approving and adopting the Peace for National Unity, the PBBM-SD framework. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Mr.
Mr.
Floor
Chair.
Leader.
Yes, Mr. Chair, since everything is already approved, all the resolutions including the consolidated resolutions, may I move to suspend the rules to give way to the closing of the
Mr.
program?
Floor Leader, I think you missed another one, which is the Manila Declaration. Maybe you can just mention it. By the way, the Manila Declaration is posted outside.
Yes.
Yes, and if you agree with it, and if you want to, meaning if you sign your name there, meaning you are in agreement with the text and the intention of the Manila Declaration for Peace and National Unity.
Anyway,
So,
Mr. Chair, for
yes.
record purposes,
Yes,
may I
please.
further move that Manila Declaration of Peace and National Unity be as well approved by this august body.
Any objection? Hearing none, I will object. No, joke. The motion is approved, approving and adopting the Manila Peace Declaration for National Unity.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair.
Any more, Mr. Floor Leader?
Now I move to suspend the rules to give way to the closing program, and I will give Ma'am Sam the floor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Floor Leader, for the job well done. And may I now
you, Mr.
call the MC for the closing program. Thank you very much.
There we go. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the second plenary session of the first National Peace Convention. We are kicking things off with an endorsement message from somebody you are very familiar with by this point. He is the chairman of Volunteer Individuals for Peace. Please help me welcome him with another warm round of applause, Dr. Ronald L. Adamat.
Thank you, Sam. Here I come again. Sana hindi kayo magsasawa. Anyway, my role this afternoon is to endorse the different approved resolutions to the Office of the President. Unfortunately, the President was not able to make it because of previous commitment. However, we have our representative from the Office of Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity in the person of Undersecretary Isidro Purisima. Okay, so before I'll proceed in endorsing the different resolutions for the consideration of the President through the OPA Pro, let me share with you a little background on how I became so engrossed in the promotion of peace. You know, I consider myself as a child of war. Child of war because I came from Mindanao and I am a victim of two wars in my life. The first one is the physical war, the protracted, centuries-long protracted war in Mindanao. And I am referring to the separatist group, the Bangsamoro Rebellion, namely that of the National Liberation Front, and the MILF, which is the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. The other one is headed by Nur Miswari, and the other one is headed by Hasim Salamat, but now headed by the Chief Minister Chief Minister Murad. I'm not saying that these leaders are warlike. They organize their respective organization, claiming that they deserve to be respected, to enjoy the right to self-determination. And that's why their people wage war against the government. And in the process, so many civilians were affected, be it Muslim, Christian, or indigenous peoples. Incidentally, I came from the indigenous peoples belonging to the Teduray tribe. I don't know if you heard of that tribe, because what is written in books is the word Tiruray. Have you heard of the word Teduray? Wala no. So that's my tribe. Maybe only a few of you have heard it. But as I've said, if you're continuously calling my tribe as Tiruray, because the authors of so many books are from Manila, then they can hardly pronounce the Swa sound, Teduray, then they write it as Tiruray. So if you continue to pronounce that as Tiruray, then my tribe will become dangerous. Why? Because with a letter S, it becomes plural, it sounds terrorize, and now if you will not listen to me, I might terrorize you. Joke lang. No, but kidding aside, yes, it's not really easy to be a member of the indigenous peoples. So aside from the physical war, there is this war also against the indigenous peoples. But before I proceed with that, let me share with you that my first taste of wearing a pair of slippers was in grade 6. I had to walk 3 kilometers to school back and forth. And I cannot finish my elementary grade at one school or in one school because we have to transfer to another barangay 40 kilometers, some 40 kilometers away because of the war in Mindanao. We were so displaced, our properties were burned out, and the rest is history. So it really pains us. It really pains us I know some of you here are from Mindanao. They can share the sentiments. They know the reality that took place in Mindanao. So, that's as far as the physical war is concerned. The other war that I have encountered in my life is by being a member of the indigenous peoples. If you are a member of the indigenous peoples, the general perception is that there is that inborn stigma wherein you are treated as second-class citizen. You are marginalized. You are a political reject. You are poor. You don't have any education at all. So in other words, it's really backward. So this social persecution in my face is so evident and very strong that makes some of the indigenous people's children drop out from schooling. Good thing, thank God, I overcome all those hurdles. And believing that education will spell the difference as a great equalizer and as a great neutralizer. Had I not had my education, maybe I cannot speak before a crowd of people like you. But now, I am proud to say that you are now listening to an IP in Dr. Ronald Adamat. So, after graduation from college, from the Notre Dame University in Cotabato City, by the way, Father Francis Sabala is here, the president of Notre Dame University. Please rise, Father, if you are around. He is at the back. Thank you for coming. Right after graduation from college, I had 4 offers: to teach at Notre Dame University, my alma mater, to teach at my alma mater in high school, St. Francis High School in UP, Maguindanao, and to go on priesthood under the Episcopal Church. If you know, the Episcopal Church is somehow the provincial church of the Anglican Church of England, the Church of England, and just for an entertainment or promotion, the Episcopal Church is the owner of St. Luke's Hospital, medical hospital, both in Rodriguez and in Bonifacio, or how do you call that? BGC. And the 4th offer was to go to military, to train to military. I slashed all the 3 in favor of going to military training. Indeed, I went to Camp Kapinpin in Tanay, Rizal, from Mindanao to Tanay, Rizal. All the requirements, all the examinations, I passed. Complete requirements, but every time the final roster is there, my name is being slashed from the roster. Maybe because I am an IP. Maybe because I don't have much backer at the time. But I was even sent to Camp Tito Abad in Pangasinan. But they asked me to wait for 6 months. But I cannot wait. So what I did is, because it's really a helpless case to become a military officer, I went back home and took some sort of discernment. Maybe to be a military officer is not mine. Although my primary purpose in joining the military is to do revenge, to protect my people and to protect my marginalized sector from being persecuted or having social persecution, and to protect my people from or against the protracted war in Mindanao. But maybe providential, it was providential, I was unable to make it, so I had took some sort of discernment. I said to myself, I think to do revenge is not the answer. So instead, I took my PhD on peace and development at the Notre Dame University. And the rest is history. I once became a member of the Regional Consultative Commission representing the indigenous peoples whose mandate was to assist Congress draft the Organic Act for the Autonomous Region and Mindanao, the purpose of which is to address the centuries-long peace problems in Mindanao. And true enough, a law was passed by Congress on that. Then I also became 4 times commissioner until I became a member of the GRP Peace Panel for talks with the MILF. Now, the result of that is the establishment of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So you see, peace has reigned in Mindanao, especially that the HWPL has also joined in the bandwagon of trying to see the resolution of the centuries-long in Mindanao. So maybe kung naging sundalo ako, should I be in a military? Baka 6 feet below the ground na ako ngayon. So there is really our Supreme Being up there as a director of our life. So that's why when I was in college, I came across a quotation of one of my favorite philosophers. If you listen to my speech, acceptance speech, when I was awarded with the prestigious M.K. Gandhi Prize for Nonviolent Peace, I took inspiration from this philosopher in Mahatma Gandhi, which once said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," and took that by heart. Because nobody can ever change the world except you. Start it from you. Start it from yourself. That's why we are working on peace, because my assumption is that you're volunteering yourself to the promotion of peace. It has to start from ourselves. It starts from this reception plenary hall of PICC. And we are the chosen one. Am I correct on that? You are the chosen one, we are the chosen one. Otherwise, if not, then you are free to step out of the room. But joke lang yun. No, because you will never do that. The fact that you came here, sacrificing your time, your resources, that's it. Clear testament that you are ready to volunteer yourself, your time, your resources. Because there is no other way except through peace. Now we have a president whose advocacy is on peace, the attainment of national unity. Now we have to help him. How? Here. We are now starting it. That's why we have the resolution, we have the roadmap, the PBBM framework, spelling out the steps towards the realization of national unity through peace. So this is history in the making, and we are now part of history. If the President hopefully, prayerfully, will listen to the loudest voice of this convention, then I am not surprised if the President will sign a proclamation order declaring January 24 as National Peace Day or Truce Day. So, without much ado, again, as I've said a while ago, this morning, if you can please take note of my quote, declaring peace as a pandemic. Infect people not to rest in peace, but to live in peace. If we step out of this room with that antigen test there, if you turn positive, then pasado kayo. So we will start the bandwagon, we'll start the advocacy, we'll start the movement. Can I be assured of that? Can I be assured of your support to volunteer for peace? Mayroon pa bang mas malakas? Very good, very good. Very good. Now I have an announcement. First is, very soon we will be launching the VIP platform, wherein you can access your membership and all the information about the volunteer individuals for peace. If you are serious about this, you have to be member, because we are one big family in tune for peace. Okay? And the last but not the least, this is a request. You heard my peace composition entitled We Are One. It encapsulates the true essence of peace. And if you want more of my song compositions, my request is, please access my YouTube channel. And please subscribe and click the notification button. According to the floor leader, some 1,800 delegates are present today. I will count after this if you really subscribe to my YouTube channel. If there's an additional of 1,800, I think you are my friends. We are working for peace. Okay? And you can also access my Spotify account, because all my songs are there. I have song for education entitled Education Builds the Future. It also encapsulates the true essence of education, performed by Angeline Quinto, and the other version is by Daryl Ong. And I have song entitled Thank You, because sometimes we fail to say thank you of the opportunities coming our way. This one performed by Clarice de Guzman. And if you want to go cha-cha after the convention, I have also one song entitled Sana All, performed by Long Mejia. And some of the songs also I perform. But okay lang. And of course, the We Are One, now performed by Nisha Bindanya from Philippine Idol Philippines, I should say. So many songs are there. I have close to 20 song compositions already. And I have 2 books, by the way. Just a promotion. I have The Blood Brothers. There is a movie adaptation of the same, together with Cesar Montano and the other actors. And the other one is entitled The Blind Soldiers, which I directed myself and one of the actors, along with Long Mejia and the others. Please watch out for those because they are educational, they are historical, and grounded on the promotion of peace. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence this afternoon, your attendance. Let me give special credit to all the presidents of state universities and colleges who are here, especially those who are under me. From Region 3, I don't need to mention your name. You know your contribution, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Those from Mindanao, from Region 8, and those CHED SUCs that are not under me, that they even also came and participated in this momentous occasion. And for those from the different sectors, we have the eagles here, we have the tigers, we have the indigenous peoples, we have the women, we have the youth, religious sector, the media. Our partners, great partners, are the media. Without them, we could hardly bring across the message to the community in the promotion of peace. So all of you, whoever you are, whatever orientation you come from, whatever profession you have, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. But this is not the end of this bandwagon. If and when we want peace really to reign in our country, please support the advocacy of the volunteer individuals from peace and consider yourself as perpetual volunteers for the promotion of peace, not only for this generation, but for the future generation of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ronald L. Adamat. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we have another endorsement message, and this time it's coming from the chairman of Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, Chairman Lee Man-hee. HWPL is an international non-profit, non-governmental organization in special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council and associated with the United Nations Department of Global Communications. Through the partnership of VIP and CHED with HWPL,
필리핀 강정 여러분들 안녕하십니까?
people of the Philippines, Chairman Lee Man-hee, everyone.
대한민국에서 온 에이따
A great pleasure to see you all. Thank you for greeting me. I am Lee Man-hee, the chair of HWPL.
에서 말씀을 들었는데
It was great to hear all your discussions and your zeal for peace. As you know, we have been carrying out the work of peace for quite some time as well. So I would like to briefly take this moment and introduce you to the HWPL. HWPL has drafted and announced the DPCW, the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War, which is an international legal instrument for peace. This was not done by my work alone. This was done in collaboration with world-renowned international law experts. And the purpose of this work was to form a legal instrument for international peace. And where did I get this idea? This was all for peace. Our purpose and cause is to end wars, to build peace, to build a lasting legacy for peace for the future generations. Of course, this is no small thing. It cannot be achieved by any small mind. It has never been attained before in history, so this is a big cause, and we take it very seriously. and there is no way we can do this alone. No single man can do this. You cannot argue this when you are alone. That is why we contacted and worked with 21 renowned international law experts in drafting the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War. If you think about war, the atrocities, the lives lost, that can never be made a heritage that lasts. And wars must be resolved for good during our generation. If you think about why UN was founded, it was founded for peace. The UN was convened for global peace, and as you know, there are 5, 6 countries forming a special committee, and their role is to be the watchdog to prevent wars in the global community. And one of that member is Russia. But as we know, and as we see today, Russia was the culprit of a war that is going on right now. Then you see the paradox here. You see how the current international legal system is not doing its role and fulfilling its purpose. That is where the DPCW comes in. The 10 articles and 38 clauses of the DPCW is for peace. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? If somebody has to take the role and take the lead, the initiative must be taken. So, when we submit this to the UN at the General Assembly and their meetings, they will have a voting. And when it is put up for a vote, I trust that the Philippines will be one of the supporting hands. Why? Because this is all for peace. This is to build a legacy that will last for the future generations. Our legacy must not be war. The 10 articles and 38 clauses of the DPCW, if you look at the content, it says we would not resort to war. Weapons will be diminished and made into useful tools for life. And I am sure you all know very well about the situations in Mindanao and its history of conflict, which was resolved. And even the very man who was once called a militant, or the leader there, he once visited me and brought me a gift. That gift I hold dearly at my office was a memento made by melting down a weapon made into a sickle. And we made a pledge together to work for peace and do away from violence. This is the right thing to do, isn't it? And this is progress being made, isn't it? Decades of conflict and violation. It was not resolved before. I am meager and weak. I am not attractive. But when my initiative, when my words speak the truth, then people do agree. And that is how this progress was made. The representative of the Muslim community in Mindanao and representative of other sides came together. We came together as a group. We discussed peace. And we committed to build peace in the region. That was the peace agreement. And we need to see it through and fulfill those pledges. Again, about forming the international legal instrument, we are still working on submitting it to the UN. But we are again reminded of the irony here, Russia being one of the members who are supposed to be preventing war. We must think about the international order and its legal terms. The current order is not functioning as it should be. And that is why I ask you and invite you to support the DPCW, because we all want to build a better world. We want a good world. We don't want this to be all talk. We want to fulfill our pledges. That is why I travel around the globe, even up to 31 world peace tours. That's quite a lot of traveling, wouldn't you say? And nobody paid me to do that. It was voluntary work. And why did I do so? It was for peace. It was to end wars, for the cessation of wars. Because if you think about it, when a war breaks out, who's sent to the front lines? Is it the elders? It's the youth, the young adults. Even just out of their childhood, they never see the prime of their lives and they are sent into war in vain. They are the greatest victims. And the ones who start the war, who are they? They're not the youth. Think about it. You would know this is true. I myself have personal experience of war. As a young man being sent out to the front lines of war during the Korean War. That was not right. It is not just. And it should not be repeated. The wars start because of somebody's greed. And even wars among the same people, that can never be justified. And now, that greed should come to a stop. To prevent wars, we need to put a stop to weapons of destruction that can take lives. But why haven't we accomplished this still? Because we haven't acted on what we can do. In our countries, we have national assemblies, parliaments, we have legislators and lawmakers. In the international community, it's the same. We have committee member states at the UN. If they are doing their jobs the way they should be doing it, then why do we still have wars? Imagine if we didn't have guns, how would people kill others? If they didn't have knives or weapons available to take lives, how would they take others' lives? That is the idea that lies in the content of the DPCW. That is what is drafted by the international law experts. Now, as the COVID pandemic is subsiding, now we are ready to regain our strength and push forward with this peace work globally. And when we do so, I urge all leaders and communities to support the DPCW with your signatures. Why? To prevent any young lives being lost in vain because of war. Once, I had an event hosted at the UN cemetery, convening many leaders from society. And I told them, the audience, I said, the men and women lying here in the cemetery are the people who fought by my side during the war. And we do not need any more leaders who just talk and do not act. We need concrete measures for peace. That is why we focus on repurposing weapons into useful tools that will help people. That is why we want to garner support toward this direction of peace. When my delegation visited Mindanao, we invited the leaders there, the local leaders, into one meeting. And we also had a convention just like this one. And we decided and concluded that we would do what the people want, which is peace. They agreed that they would stop the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, think about it. You are seeing the witness. I was the one who was there when we agreed for peace. As we are working for peace and the cessation of wars, as we are working for peace as a legacy for the future generations, we have to gather our hearts as one, and we have to work together as one. We cannot wait for someone else to do it for us. It's on us. It's you who can do it. It's us who has to make it happen. We can tell people that we love them, but if you really love them, you would show it with your actions. You can say many wonderful things. I'm sure many of you already have read the DPCW and its contents because we've sent it across the globe. But if really people, if they acted on it, we would not have wars already. And it is very possible. We can make it come true. What does it take? We take our leaders. We need our leaders to take the lead to make this a reality. That is why I continue on my world tour for peace, meeting heads of state, meeting parliament speakers, chancellors of universities, prime ministers, collecting their signatures to support the DPCW and for peace. You can check it out. You can verify by asking them. Whoever hasn't signed in support yet, I urge you to do so sooner. Think about it, what history would talk about your decision. If you decide not to sign in support for peace, the future generations will call it a decision against peace, because we are all the same. We are all humans. Who are you leading for? If you're president, who are you president and leading for? It's for your people. It's for your country. I myself am a descending line of a royal family. But what use is that? Medicine is only good for the sick. Peace is the medicine that we all need. And the commitment to peace is the medicine we need to stop wars. And we must all take part in this cause. We must be peace messengers individually. Each and every one of us is called as peace advocates and peace messengers. That way, peace will come true. I firmly believe so, and it is possible. Whenever I meet leaders on my World Peace Tour, we meet many world leaders and we take commemorative photos, and I have that on display for people to see. I also put their quotes with their photos. I have quite a collection. If you ever visit Korea, you can visit my place and see that collection on display. Why do I do such a thing? To accomplish peace. No people can last without a nation. No president is president without their people. If you look at the criminal law, the very first code of law in the book, if you look at the constitution of my country, the very first line in the code of law says it is a republic. It's a democratic republic, and the state authority comes from its people. And for people to thrive, we need peace. So the purpose of a nation comes from the people, and we need peace for all people. The authority comes from its people. So anyone who is in power or seeking power, their interest must be their people, and their interest must be peace. Wherever I go, in the Philippines as well, whether it's Mindanao or other regions across the country, what we should be striving for is peace. And I am sure when all of you join the family of peace across the Philippines, we can join forces, we can work together for peace, and that will bring great progress. The story of Mindanao is now so well known. It's such a success story for peace that the global community was amazed. Now the Philippines is a leading example for peace because of the peace established in Mindanao. With that decision for peace, it is a transition from death to life. It is an example set for the global community. It's a light shed on the world. As you can see, I am an old man. I can't say I'm an accomplished person. I'm rather old, but I have dedicated the rest of my life for peace. Ladies and gentlemen, think about it. Let's say you have a world peace tour, even one trip. Think about the expense. Think about the resource that goes into it and the investment that goes into it. Nobody makes a contribution to it. Nobody's paying me to do it. I gain nothing out of it. I am not well educated. I am not well versed. However, still, for peace, I am traveling around the world for the work of peace. So, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to invite you to join the work of peace because I know you can do it. And through your work, I know that peace can be accomplished. Many of you will have so many resources and talents. You can be healthy, you can be well built, or well versed, or educated and talented. No matter what you have, no matter your characteristics, any one of you can be a peace messenger and you can work for peace. And I'm talking to every one of you. And the work for peace must be done. So with the goodwill, let's work for peace together. Even at this moment, even today, we are doing a lot for peace. Many people come to us reaching out to collaborate for the peace work. And we are continuing the work of peace to build a nation of love, a nation of peace around the globe. Now, because of the COVID pandemic, many have been hidden away. And actually, I have been staying home for a long time. And after a long while, the Philippines is my first destination. The very first embarkment of the restarting peace work is the Philippines. So my heart and my legs were led here to the Philippines, I believe. Maybe God led me here. Because if you think about it, the Philippines was the most frequent destination for my peace tour. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask of you, I humbly request to you, let's work as one. Let's have love for each other. Let's think about our neighbors around the world. When somebody is suffering in poverty or hardship, you cannot expect the rest of the world to be looking and caring, but we know what they need. And we all know we need peace. We know we cannot have peace as long as we have weapons. That is why it was so significant when we received the gift that was made out of weapons by melting it into a sickle. It's all about turning around, making it right, turning from the wrong path to the right. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe some of you already know very well, Korea used to be a very poor country. It was invaded, it was practically enslaved, its people suffered extortion. But now South Korea boasts a proud nation. It used to be one of the poorest countries in the globe. People saw no hope for it. And even many people thought Korea would be the starting point, the ignition point for the Third World War. But now look at it where it stands. It has come a long way. And when people talk about life, people talk about farming. The greatest farming, that kind of farming you can do is raising your children the right way. And we want to raise our children the right way collectively to build a better world. And that way we are building a better future for the entire nation, for our people. In perspective, I think of it this way. I imagine, if I were president, what would I do? If I were president, I would sow seeds. I would work. I would do the hard work. No, it's not a realistic hypothesis, me becoming president, but in saying, it's about caring for your people, doing the work it takes, and doing the right thing. So you entertain the idea of being hands-on and doing the right work for your nation and for your people. But along the same line, I invite you to have love for each other, for your people, and for your nation. And that way we will build a better world. Sincerely, as I have come to Philippines quite often, I have love for your country, this great nation. So that said, let's join our forces for peace. And sometimes my heart is drawn to your country, so I often write about your country as well. And one day we will reach such progress and achieve and accomplish great things. The world will become a better place. And forever and ever, we can become one and have love for each other. The DPCW that I have introduced to you today, this must be promoted in the global community to the UN and garner greater support globally. And whatever group you represent here, the step you take will make a difference, and it will make progress. And wherever you go, when you promote peace, when you support the DPCW, it will have beneficial outcomes. Recently in Korea, a youth volunteer group, more than 70,000 people, young adults, volunteered and donated their blood to help cure COVID. And this was reported by the BBC. The media noticed it, and they got very good response across societies. I think the same thing can happen in the Philippines. It can set a good example for the world. This is based on love for the people. The government should have love for its people. The people should have love and support for the government, and that will all come back in turn. And that way, we can become one. Whenever I come to the Philippines, I appreciate what I see and hear. I take it close to my heart, and I take it as a dear memory. And that has built the work of peace that we have been doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us work as one. Let us become one. Let us have love for each other and keep working together. Thank you very much for your attention. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, that was Chairman Lee Man-hee of HWPL. With that, we move on to a very momentous part of this afternoon session. In utmost appreciation to Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light for its noble work for peace in the Philippines, deserving of highest recognition, HWPL will be awarded a plaque of recognition from CHED NCR. We'd like to call on stage Dr. Julieta Paras, who is a director at CHED NCR. Please welcome her with a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to read what is on this plaque of recognition. This plaque of recognition is awarded to Mr. Lee Man-hee, Chairman, Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, for his unstinted support and inspiring leadership in the conduct of the first National Peace Convention with the theme Peace Builds One Nation, One Future, in partnership with the Volunteer Individuals for Peace, for his relentless effort in his peace advocacy in the Philippines, and in grateful acknowledgement and sincere expression of gratitude for his visionary leadership as Chairman of Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, given this 25th day of January 2023 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines. Julieta M. Paras, Director for Commission on Higher Education, NCR. A round of applause, please. Please stay on stage. And we'd like to call on Dr. Ronald Adamat as well, because we have another plaque of appreciation. Yeah. This plaque of appreciation is coming from the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, NCR, to be given by Dr. Maria Eugenia M. Yanko. She is the SUC President too. She's coming to join us on stage right now. And this plaque of appreciation is given to both Chairman Lee Man-hee of HWPL and Dr. Ronald Adamat of VIP. And the plaque reads, for his invaluable initiative and support in the conduct of the first National Peace Convention with the theme Peace Builds One Nation, One Future, in partnership with the Volunteer Individuals for Peace, for his indefatigable efforts in the promotion of peace in the Philippines, and in deep acknowledgement and sincere expression of gratitude for his priceless service as Chairman of the Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, given this 25th day of January 2023 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines. Bert J. Tuga, PhD, Chair of PASUC NCR, and President of Philippine Normal University. The same plaque is also given to Dr. Ronald L. Adamat of Volunteer Individuals for Peace. Thank you very much. You may now take your seats, everyone. With all that behind us, I think we're ready for a song. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh,
Okay. May I also request Chairman Man-hee to please stay because I have a token from my tribe. It's a headgear. I'm proud to say that it's only my tribe who can do this as fine as this. The fabric is so fine. Some tribes are also doing it, but not as fine as our fabric is. So I'm giving this as a token to Chairman Manhili.
What a beautiful gesture. Thank you so much, Dr. Ronald Adamat. And once again, Chairman Liman He of HWPL, ladies and gentlemen. You may now take your seat because it's now time for a song number. Speaking of song, by the way, do you know that Miss Lani Misalucha is amongst us? She's here. Please stand and be recognized. Hello, hello. We also have another very talented singer in the house with us, and she is now going to be joining us with the Rizal Technological University Chorale for the song We Are One. This is a song composed by Dr. Ronald Adamat, and we'll be singing together with the lyric video with One Heart. Please help me welcome back again Miss Nisha Bendanya.
In this world where everyone's divided, where you and I decided to define a boundary, there I dream a world where we all stand, a place with all our hands, you and me are joined in harmony. We can make this world if we hold on together. We can share and work. We can make this place better if we are one for love. We are one for harmony. We are one big family in tune with one melody. One for respect, hand in hand we all connect. Peace for all, and now we are one. It's our world, let's begin to understand. We must protect our land, you and me. Let's work in harmony. Let's rebuild this world. Send our love to one another. No more space for wars. We shall make this place better if we are one for love. We are one for harmony. We are one big family tune with one melody, one for respect. Hand in hand we all connect. Peace for all, and now we are one. For
Nisha Bendaña with the Rizal Technological University Chorale. Let's give them a big round of applause for that rendition of We Are One, a song composed by Dr. Ronald Adamat. And now, we'd like to invite our guests on stage to move downstairs for our commemorative photo. It's time for a commemorative photo, so please make your way down the stage.